Hey kids, it's me, Toni Homeperm. No, not the Great Pumpkin, although I could see how I could easily be mistaken for the Great Pumpkin today. We're feeling very pumpkin-y, very orange, very Halloween, and the reason for that is the BH Cosmetics Scorpion Sting palette from their Poison Shock collection. Here it is. It is the orange-themed palette. It's the last one of the 6 that I had left to review, and I finally got to play with it today and create this look for all of you. Now, if you're interested in videos like this, where I take a palette and create a drag look out of it, you have to make sure to subscribe to my channel down below. So as I said, this was the last palette in the collection. There were 6 palettes altogether. At the end of this, I'm going to go over all 6 palettes and just give you my thoughts on all of them and the collection as a whole. Now this one, Scorpion Sting, I don't know why Scorpion Sting would be orange. I don't think of scorpions as being orange. Now if it had a name that was more pumpkin-like, I would have understood that. I don't quite get Scorpion Sting. But be that as it may, this is the Scorpion Sting palette, and it's very orange. Hence why I am orange. Now, first things first, I did swatch this palette in a previous video, and I'm going to have the links to all the Poison Shock palettes listed down below in the comments. But let me throw the swatches for this up on the screen just so you can see. So we have Creeper, Tiny Threat, Tricked, Desert Danger, Sandy Sneak, Predator, Stinger, Clawly, and last but not least, Stealth Stab. So those are the swatches. It swatched really nicely. I will say I was a little disappointed in this one, only because it's very mid-toned. It didn't give me a lot of options for depth, but I think I'm okay with the look that I created. I'm interested to know what all of you think about the look. So with that being said, let's just rewind the camera and get into creating this look, which I feel very much like the Great Pumpkin. And we're back. I shaved, almost forgot to shave, but I remembered. I glued my eyebrows down. I set everything with my base foundation. I drew new eyebrows, and I used the Scorpion Sting palette. For part of the eyebrows, I used this color, Prickly, along with a little bit of some of the brown from my very, very old and beat up BH Cosmetics contour and blush palette, my contour color, just because I needed some depth for definition on the eyebrows, and on the tail I used my little Wet n Wild eyeliner pen, and this is in a brown because I wanted definition, but I didn't want to go all the way to black. All right, now I am a little concerned with this palette because it's a lot of light and medium tones. There's really nothing for depth. Case in point, I jumped into the BH Cosmetics Contour Palette to use the contouring color for depth for the eyebrows. So I'm not sure how the eye look is going to go. But I always like to approach these videos with the idea, I give myself a scenario that I'm at a out-of-town gig, and this was the only palette I could find, and I've got to get ready to perform. So it gives me a bit of urgency and forces me to think outside of the box what to do with the palette to create a drag look. That's how I like to approach it. Now, if I do need some black, as I've done with all these Poison Shock palettes, I may jump into the black from this other BH Cosmetics palette, and this black is called Black Magic, and of course it's from the Drop Dead Gorgeous Full On Crazy palette, which is a great palette that they did last Halloween. And also, I might use some of the contouring color. I'm not sure. Even though primarily I want to only use the Scorpion Sting palette, I still want to create a nice drag look. So with that being said, let's just jump into it and see what we can create with the palette. So let's grab a big fluffy brush, one of my Kaleidos brushes, and make sure there's no existing pigment on it. And I've taped down to give myself that nice hard edge that I love so much. And I'm gonna try to leave this mirror over here so that I'm not blocking everybody's view. It's difficult though sometimes to do that. Alright, I did set my eyes with some Makeup Revolution eye base. I'm just going to tap out these creasy things that I get. Oh, I love them. I just love them. So wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, aging process. Okay, let's put some of the really bright orange prickly, which is what I've also used on the brows, here in the corner of the eye. Oh, also, I'm not wearing the hideous, disgusting black t-shirt. It's in the wash. So I grabbed an orange t-shirt because we were doing all this orange look. Okay, prickly is very, very pigmented. It really is. So I cannot complain about that. It's really orange. That's really orange. Okay. Do some on the other side. It's really pigmented. There is some kickback in the pan. Some people don't like that. I don't care. As long as I get pigmentation like this, I don't care if there's as much dust as in the Sahara Desert. It doesn't matter to me. It's not really dust. It's sand. And it's not sand. This is pigment powder. But you know what I mean. Okay, so we did some of prickly, the bright orange. Now I'm going to go into tiny thread. Oh, I like that tiny thread. That's what I feel like sometimes, a tiny thread. I'm going to color switch off my brush, use the same brush. We're going to go into tiny thread. I think of myself as a tiny threat because I'm only 5'3" in stocking feet. One of the smallest drag queens out there. The only good thing about that is I have a small foot. So I can actually fit into a woman's size 11 shoe, and that's like, as far as buying shoes like in store off the rack, 11 is usually the largest size you could find. I mean, I've found like size 11 shoes in Walmart of all places, and I've gotten some traveling shoes. They don't really have anything there that I would deem drag worthy, but they've had some things like boots and things like that, which are okay for getting to and from a show. Because some things, I mean, you can't travel to the venue in 6-inch stiletto heels. It's just not convenient. Okay, tiny threat went on really nice too. Very bright and pigmented. I can't say anything bad about the pigment so far. Tiny Threat and Prickly are both pretty good. pretty good. The only lament I have is there not being anything really deep. Like a deep brown would have been perfect. But gotta work with what we have. Okay, kids? That's what it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this color, Creeper, which is sort of like a creamsicle color. Almost a little peachy. Let's see what it gives us. Sort of like a pastel. It's pigmented, but it's light, so I think I have to sort of just tap it on, and we'll sort of tippy tap it into tiny thread. I don't know when I cut the crease, I don't know how much definition I'm gonna get from it, but this is what we have to work with. So, okay, let me play with this a little bit, reapply, blend, and then I'll see what we're left with. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back finally. I took a break to make lunch for my husband and myself, just sandwiches, nothing fancy. And you may be able to tell from the background noise, we're having a nor'easter here on Long Island, and after lunch, it started to come down really heavy, the rain, and so I had to go into the basement. We have a problem with water coming in. I had to get my pump going and the wet vac and all that. And I'm doing all of that while half in drag. Yeah. Fun, fun, fun. Okay, so what are we going to do? Well, I cut the crease and I went very high with it and as bright white as I could. Used my ColourPop concealer in 00. I really love that stuff for doing a bright white cut crease. It really does work good. Makeup Revolution, they used to have I think it was the cut crease in like a very bright white, but I think they discontinued it. I can get the cut crease, but it's in like a Caucasian color. It's like, you know, if you want to say flesh or nude, and you're talking about a Caucasian color, well, that's not flesh or nude for someone who has more melanated skin. So anyway, the Makeup Revolution cut crease is in a it comes in a Caucasian shade, but if I want bright white, they don't have it anymore. Okay, so what are we gonna do with this look? Okay, so I guess we're just gonna go shimmer on where we cut out the crease, and I think the smartest thing to do is put down some NYX Glitter Primer. We have it, yes, here. This little tube has lasted me, I don't know how long. I have a backup that I've never even touched. But we're going to put this on the eye, and then we're going to go in with some of these shimmers. So bear with me. We're probably just going to breeze through this because there's not much interesting about it. I'm just taking a little bit of the glitter primer. It's probably way more than I even needed. And we're just going to apply that where I did the cut crease. Well, you see? Look at that. I hate when that happens. Buff it out. Buff it out. I had time to do that because I was working on the basement. Alright, so glitter primer. Okay, glitter primer's down. I'm going to go in with, what is this, Stealth Stab. This darkest shimmer on the outside edge. And we're going to blend in with some lighter shimmers. Let us see what happens with this. Let's just, I think it's best to just sort of tap it on. I'm not going to put too much of this color on. I want more of the next color. Okay, that'll do. Let's do the same on the other side. And I guess I was using the wrong brush on the other side. So let's just go back over the other side a little bit. It's fine, it's fine. Okay, that'll do. I'm going to color switch my packing brush. And now we're going to try, what is this? Sandy Sneak? I think that's the name, Sandy Sneak, the very bright orange shimmer. Let's see what happens. Well, it is bright. I will say that. Well, it's certainly bright and reflective, so pretty good, pretty good. And on the other side, pretty bright. Okay, and I think on the very inside, we're going to go in with, what is this color? Desert Danger, that really bright. Let's see what happens. As I always say, this is like if we had a gig to get to and it was the only palette we had. This one seems a little dry. It's not as smooth as Sandy Sneak. I'm just gonna tippy tap that over Sandy Sneak. Sandy Sneak. Okay, I think that looks pretty nice. I think it's giving a nice effect. There's, nothing there, and there's, what is it? Desert Danger there. So it is It is pretty reflective. Yeah, actually, I like that. I'm not displeased with it. So let me just keep working on this a little bit, and definitely need some liner, and we'll be back right after that. Stay tuned. Okay, upper eye is done. I did some liner, and what I did, because I've just been struggling with liners lately, I don't know what it is, but these felt tip liners, I don't know. I saw a few people rave about this, the Physicians Formula one, but you can see it's brand new, and the fibers have already splayed. Here's another one, Wet and Wild. Can you see how the fibers have like just splayed? And you know, if you cut it, I've tried to do that. It just oozes all over the place. It's very frustrating. This actually is not bad for a liquid liner. The Essence. I mean, I could have used that. The only thing about it is the control is not exactly 100% how I would like it to be. So what I did today is I took my Inglot gel liner, which is horribly drying out, as gel liners do. But Inglot makes this stuff called Duraline. And you just take a couple drops and you put it in the gel liner, and you take a small little brush like this, which is just like a paintbrush. It's not even a makeup brush, a very thin line type of brush. And you mix that in, and you know use that to do your line, and it came out okay. It came out okay. We did a very small line and a tiny little wing, because with hooded eyes you can't really do a wing as someone who has an unhooded eye can do. But I digress. So upper eye is done. Let's try and finish this off. What are we going to do? Just going to go back in with the colors we've already used. I'm going to put some of Prickly on the outside edge of the bottom of the eye. And I think because of the gel liner being there, it may give us some, it may help us to smoke out Prickly. I think it is. So it'll give me a little bit of depth there on the under eye, but I think I want a smaller brush. Smaller brush. Just gonna color switch that off to try to get the black off, and then put some Prickly there and there. Oh, I feel like I'm the great pumpkin Charlie Brown. I really do. Okay, color switch the brush off, and then we're going to go in with Tiny Threat. Okay. Normally I do white in the waterline, but I think we're going to do black, just because these colors are very light. I don't have a lot of depth. And I think I just need some contrast. So, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to finish everything off, come back with the finished look, and we will discuss the Scorpion Sting palette from BH Cosmetics from their Poison Shock collection. Stay tuned, kids. And we're back. And here she is, the Great Pumpkin herself. Oh my goodness, are we orange today? We're very, very orange. I don't think I've ever done such an orange look ever. This is pretty orange, but very Halloween appropriate, I think. So I'm happy with it. What do all of you think? So what did we do to complete this look? Well, of course, on the face, I did my normal contouring and highlighting. Now, for actual highlight on the cheekbone, I went back into the Scorpion Sting palette, and I used this very bright Desert Danger color as the highlight. I hope you can see it there on the cheek. On somebody like me, who is, the color of raw chicken, it works great on the cheek as a highlighter. I don't know how well it will work on people who have deeper complexions. I lucked out, and on me, it works. On the lip, I went into my NYX Liquid Suede in Orange County, although I did outline first in a dark brown. Then I used the Orange County. So after applying Orange County, I went back into the Scorpion Sting palette and applied a little of Predator and Stinger over that, just to give a little oomph, a little zhuzh. And that's basically what we did to complete the look. Now, what are my thoughts on the Scorpion Sting palette? Is it drag worthy? I'm gonna have to sort of say yes and no. I mean, I'm very happy with how reflective the shimmers are, if you can see them there. Very, very shimmery. All the colors worked really good. I can't complain about that. The only thing that bothered me really with the palette was that it's very mid-tone, and there wasn't really something to give me some depth. Like if there had been like a dark sort of brownish orange in here, maybe instead of one of these shimmers, my opinion of this palette would be a lot higher. But all in all, it's a good palette. I don't hate it. Definitely, if I want to do something with orange, I would definitely pull this out and use it with another palette. I don't know if using it by itself for drag look would work 100% for me. With that being said, the quality is great. The mattes are great, very pigmented, very blendable. Shimmers are very bright and shimmery. The Desert Danger, that one, it's a little powdery. It's a little drier than the other shimmers, but I was able to make it work, and using it as a highlight on the cheek worked great for me. So honestly, I can't complain about it. It's just that I probably would not use this look for a performance, not the eye look. Whenever I do these videos, my goal is to try and only use the palette itself, not to go outside of it and pull in colors from other palettes. I sort of feel like if I'm doing a review on one palette, I should only use that palette. I sort of feel like if I grab some colors from another palette, I'm cheating in a way. For all I know, maybe somebody is going to watch this, and maybe this is the only palette that they have, and they don't have the option to grab colors from other palettes or single shadows or something like that. And it's my job to show somebody how to make a look work just using this on the eyes. And I did do that. The only other thing on the eye was the black gel liner, which I was able to sort of blend that out on the edge for a little bit of depth. But that's not cheating because it wasn't another eyeshadow. It wasn't from another palette. I didn't even go into another BH palette like I thought I might. So kudos to me. Now, of course, the Scorpion Sting was the last palette in the Poison Shock collection that I had to get through. Now, I think I'm actually going to pull out the other palettes and just do a quick recap and summary for you. Now, of course, we started with the Ghost Pepper palette, and this is the reddish pinkish palette, and I like this palette. It was really nice, and I got a great look with it, so I was happy with it. So it's a good palette. Next was the Sub-Zero palette, which was the blue palette, and I loved this palette. I really did. This is a beautiful blue palette. I love the look that I created with it, and again, it's a beautiful blue palette. I was very happy with it. I like how I'm orange with the blue. I'm very complimentary right now, holding the Sub-Zero palette. Next was the Venom palette, which was the very cool toned gray grungy palette, and I love the look that I made with this. I think the Venom palette and the Sub-Zero, they're probably my top two out of the Poison Shock collection. I just love this palette. You can create such smoky looks with this one. I have nothing bad to say about it. It's a great palette. Then there was the Nightshade Palette, which is the purple toned palette. And the look I did with this, I didn't really use it to the full extent that I could have. I should really do another look with it. But what I did create, the colors that I did use, I was very happy with. And again, no complaints about the palette. It's a beautiful purple tone palette. And of course the Absinthe palette, where I did one of my most extreme views. I turned myself into the green goddess of Halloween, and I love green themed palettes, and this one didn't disappoint. I loved this palette. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, did I love it more than Sub-Zero, or did I love Sub-Zero more? I don't know. But I did love this palette. I loved using it, and I'm sure I will use it again for a green-themed look. It worked magically. It was really good. And of course, that leaves us with the Scorpion Sting, which is the last palette in the collection that I got to play with and review and make a look with. Orange is a hard color. It's not the easiest color in the world to work with. I mean, orange is out there and in your face, and I think this look proves that. It's very out there and it's very in your face. You know, I'm feeling very pumpkin spice, although they you know, Scorpion Sting. I don't really see scorpions as being orange. To me, this is very pumpkin-y. I'm sorry. When I think of orange, I think of pumpkins. I don't think of scorpions, but that's just me. So I did like the look that I created. As far as for drag, I think if I didn't have all the accoutrements that I do have for creating a drag look, I might not have been able to pull it off. I mean, I have very dramatic eyelashes on, and drag contouring and highlighting and wig and jewels and some other some other things. I don't quite know how it would have worked as a drag look, but I did make it work. I'm pleased with the end result. Um, I would use this again for an orange look. I would need some other colors or another palette to work in some deeper tones. Like I said, I just would have loved like a rusty brown in this palette instead of one of the shimmers. I wish they had done that, but just my feelings on it. Just my feelings on it. Now, of course, if you like this video, you gotta hit the like button down below. And of course, if you want to see more of these types of videos from me, you have to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. All at the same time, please. Now, you can catch me twice a month on my internet variety show, Naughty or Nice, and that's Nice with 6 eyes. And that's the show I do with the horror diva, Alexis Flame. And all the details for catching that are listed down below in the comments. And don't forget my weekly podcast, God'll Get You for That, Walter, the review show that I do with Tom Cat. We watch episodes of the 1970s sitcom Maude, which starred B. Arthur, and we discuss the episode and the sociological ramifications and issues that they had back then that a lot of times we are still dealing with today. And that is every week here on YouTube, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those podcast platforms. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I finally got to review the last palette in the BH Cosmetics Poison Shock collection, the Scorpion Sting palette. I didn't think I was going to get through all 6, but I did it. I set a goal for myself, and I accomplished it, and I'm very proud of myself. So be sure to catch my next video, and I will see you all again real soon. Bye-bye.